Welcome to our Middle East briefing program. Today, we're diving into the changing dynamics of the US-Israel relationship. Once rock solid, public support among Americans, especially Democrats and younger voters, is waning, with only 46% backing Israel now, marking a 25-year low. Despite this, the US continues to provide military aid and diplomatic support, though experts warn that internal political shifts could reshape this long-standing alliance. Stay tuned as we explore how domestic politics may influence future foreign policy. Next, Israel is escalating its military operations in Gaza, with the Security Cabinet approving plans to take control of the entire Palestinian territory. This intensified effort is expected to cause more civilian suffering and heighten regional tensions. Meanwhile, in Yemen, Israel responded to a missile attack near Ben Gurion Airport by striking Houthi targets in Yemen, escalating regional hostilities with Iran backing the Houthis and US conducting strikes in the area. The conflict is heating up, with Prime Minister Netanyahu promising future retaliation. Finally, on the international front, the EU is planning to ban Russian gas imports by 2027, aiming to reduce reliance on Russia's energy supplies and boost US LNG exports to Europe. This energy shift comes amid ongoing concerns about energy security and support for Ukraine. That's all for today's briefing. Please continue to follow us for more detailed insights. BBC reports a significant shift in American public opinion and political stance towards Israel, marking a departure from the historically unwavering support that has defined US-Israel relations since 1948. The article highlights recent developments such as President Trump's provocative proposals to take control of Gaza, which exemplify a hardened US support for Israel, and the Biden administration's unprecedented military aid following the October 2023 Hamas attacks. Despite ongoing military and diplomatic backing, polls reveal a declining trend in American support for Israel, especially among Democrats and younger Americans, with many sympathizing more with Palestinians. This shift, driven by the high civilian casualties in Gaza and social media influence, raises concerns about future policy implications, even though the US continues to maintain a strong alliance with Israel. Historically, American support for Israel was rooted in shared cultural connections and political decisions made during pivotal moments like Truman's recognition of Israel in 1948 and Israel's 1967 victory in the Six-Day War, which cemented its strategic importance. However, recent years have seen a complex and sometimes strained relationship, influenced by internal political divisions and demographic changes, with some experts warning that waning public support could eventually impact US military aid and diplomatic engagement. Deutsche Welle reports that Israel's Security Cabinet has authorized an expansion of its military operations in Gaza, including plans to take control over the entire Palestinian territory. This decision underscores Israel's intent to escalate its offensive, which is likely to result in increased suffering and civilian casualties among Gazans. The move comes amid ongoing tensions and military confrontations following the recent Hamas attacks and Israel's retaliatory strikes. The renewed offensive signals a hardening stance by Israel, with the government aiming to consolidate control and weaken militant groups, but it also raises serious concerns about humanitarian consequences and the potential for further destabilization in the region. The article contextualizes the escalation within the broader conflict, emphasizing the profound implications for civilian lives and the prospects for peace, as Israel's military strategy becomes increasingly aggressive. South China Morning Post reports that the European Union is preparing to propose a comprehensive ban on Russian gas imports by the end of 2027, marking a decisive move to cut reliance on Russia's energy supplies following Moscow's full-scale invasion of Ukraine. The plan involves halting new gas deals and phasing out existing long-term contracts, with a focus on shifting towards alternative LNG sources from the US, Qatar, Canada, and Africa. Despite the energy crisis, the EU anticipates limited price impacts due to an expected surge in global LNG supply, which could ease the region's tight energy reserves. The EU's strategy aims not only to weaken Russia's economic hold but also to bolster US LNG exports, with negotiations ongoing to facilitate the exit from existing contracts, including potential measures to address long-term take-or-pay agreements. The plan also includes reducing dependence on nuclear materials from Russia, such as uranium, and setting targets for member states like Slovakia and Hungary to end their Russian energy reliance by 2027, highlighting the bloc's multifaceted approach to energy independence amidst geopolitical tensions. BBC reports that Israel launched targeted strikes against Houthi positions in Yemen following a missile attack near Ben Gurion Airport, which injured 4 individuals. Israel's military claimed to have hit key Houthi supply sites in the Houdaida port and a cement factory east of Houdaida, asserting these locations were crucial for the group's infrastructure and weapon transfers, purportedly linked to Iranian support. The Houthis responded by threatening a comprehensive aerial blockade on Israel, vowing to target airports in retaliation for Israel's expanding military operations in Gaza. The attack on the airport resulted in minor injuries and was condemned as part of ongoing regional tensions involving Iran-backed groups, with the U.S. denying involvement in the Yemen strikes. The Houthis blamed both Israel and the U.S. for the escalation, asserting that the recent missile attack was an independent act by Yemen's insurgent group. Meanwhile, Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu warned of future retaliations, as the region remains volatile with ongoing U.S. strikes against Houthi targets in Yemen and broader geopolitical confrontations involving multiple actors. The Independent reports on the controversial international ventures of Donald Trump's sons, Eric and Donald Trump Jr., who are actively promoting business deals around the globe that could potentially benefit President Trump. Their tour includes high-stakes projects such as a $1 billion luxury hotel in Dubai, a golf course and villa complex in Qatar, and a Serbian hotel, alongside a significant $2 billion investment from an Abu Dhabi-backed fund that utilizes a currency from Trump's own crypto firm, World Liberty Financial. Meanwhile, in Washington, Donald Trump Jr. announced the launch of an exclusive $500,000 per membership club called the Executive Branch, a cheeky nod to the federal government, further blurring the lines between business and politics. These endeavors are projected to generate millions for the Trump family and may even benefit the sitting president, sparking accusations of conflicts of interest and allegations of corruption, especially as Trump's supporters and critics clash over the integrity of these financial pursuits. Critics argue that the Trump administration's mingling of business and political influence resembles a form of bribery, with reports of lobbyists and foreign officials engaging in Trump crypto coin purchases to sway policy, and Trump himself attending high-priced crypto dinners hosted by pro-Trump super PACs, fueling concerns over the erosion of ethical boundaries. Al Jazeera highlights a significant legal development in Michigan where charges against 7 pro-Palestine student protesters at the University of Michigan were dropped by Attorney General Dana Nessel. The students had been accused of trespassing and resisting police during a pro-Palestinian demonstration last year, but Nessel cited legal delays and the case's divisive nature as reasons for dismissing the charges. The case had garnered national attention, symbolizing the broader crackdown on pro-Palestine activism amid Israel's war on Gaza, with critics claiming it was an attack on free speech and assembly. The controversy was further inflamed by accusations of bias against Nessel, who faced criticism from Congresswoman Rashida Tlaib and others for her handling of the case, including allegations of anti-Semitism based on her comments and actions. Defense advocates argued that the charges were politically motivated attempts to silence Palestinian rights advocates, emphasizing that the First Amendment protects such expressions, and asserting that the case reflected a broader effort to suppress criticism of Israel under the guise of legal enforcement. Yahoo US reports on the same Michigan case, emphasizing the decision by state prosecutors to drop felony charges against the 7 students after nearly a year of legal battles. Attorney General Nessel explained that the decision was influenced by public criticism and ongoing delays, which she described as creating a circus-like atmosphere. The students, who protested against university investments in companies linked to Israel, had faced charges for exercising their right to free speech at the campus protest site, the diagram. Their defense attorneys argued that the charges were an unjust suppression of free expression, with one lawyer stating that the case sent a message that public pressure can influence the rule of law. The university maintained that the protest camp posed safety risks, citing overloaded power sources and open flames, but the broader context revealed a clash over political activism and free speech rights, with advocates asserting that the case was an attempt to silence Palestinian voices and critics warning of an increasing trend to undermine First Amendment protections in politically sensitive situations. The Washington Post reported that Antelnes, a former cartoonist who resigned in protest after her cartoon depicting Jeff Bezos and other tech giants bowing to Donald Trump was censored, has been awarded the Pulitzer Prize for her fearless work. Her departure highlighted the paper's internal struggles amid its shifting allegiance to the Trump administration. Meanwhile, other prestigious awards went to the Wall Street Journal for Elon Musk coverage, the New York Times for multiple categories including explanatory and international reporting, and the New Yorker for feature and commentary work, emphasizing the breadth of excellence in journalism. ProPublica was recognized for its urgent investigation into maternal deaths in states with restrictive abortion laws. In addition to journalism, the Pulitzer also honored Percival Everett's novel, James, a provocative retelling of Huckleberry Finn, from Jim's perspective, which was acquired for a film adaptation. The awards reflected a wide spectrum of impactful storytelling, from fearless political cartoons and investigative journalism to compelling fiction and theater, celebrating courage and creativity across media. The Australian Broadcasting Corporation details the inspiring journey of Claire Clutterham, a newly elected South Australian Labor MP who has transitioned from a distinguished legal career, where she advised Saudi Arabian government projects, Australian coal mines, and Dubai's largest racecourse, to the halls of Canberra, representing the historically conservative seat of Sturt. Her remarkable victory, defying pre-election polls with a decisive swing, not only marked her personal achievement as the first woman to hold this position but also secured a Labour sweep across metropolitan Adelaide, strengthening the Albanese government's parliamentary majority. Clutterham's extensive international legal experience, particularly in the Middle East and Asia, has endowed her with a global perspective and a nuanced understanding of energy, infrastructure, and dispute resolution, which she now aims to leverage for her constituents. Her background includes pivotal roles in negotiating oil pipeline settlements, advising on clean fuels projects, and representing major developers in Dubai's ambitious construction ventures, including the world's largest racecourse. She emphasizes her commitment to climate action, advocating for Australia's transition to renewable energy and local environmental initiatives, while also focusing on tangible infrastructure projects like a freight bypass around Adelaide, backed by federal funding. With her legal expertise, international insight, and local dedication, Clutterham is poised to make a significant impact, already contemplating her next electoral challenge and promising to champion both community and environmental priorities in her new role. Thank you for tuning in. The content above showcases the latest briefing reports and analytical synopses, thoughtfully curated by the 6Do team. These insights stem from a wide array of reputable media outlets, think tanks, government sources, and specialized experts worldwide. We encourage you to explore these sources for a comprehensive perspective. Keep in mind that while the content may not always align with the official standpoint of 6Do Brief, it's not meant to be taken as absolute directives for decision-making. Comprising seasoned media professionals, learned scholars, and accomplished scientists, the 6Do team embodies a trailblazing, fully independent media entity. To customize 6Do Brief to meet your professional needs, you have the option to subscribe to a diverse array of briefings on our website, 6dobrief.com. Regardless of your location, you can conveniently receive 6Do Brief via email.
Morning coffee, fresh off the press. Reading headlines, feeling blessed. World keeps turning, stories unfold. Every moment news gets told. Flipping channels, clicking tabs. Feeding my mind's hunger grabs. Facts and figures, images bright. News keeps rolling day and night. Headlines and headlines, can't get enough. Learning about the world, yeah, it's my stuff. Headlines and headlines, stories unfold. Knowledge is power, truth to behold. Politics, science, sports, and art. Every story plays its part. Global voices, voices near. Every headline loud and clear. Need the latest, got to know. Never stopping, always go. Scrolling, swiping, reading on. Daylight breaks into dawn. Headlines and headlines, can't get enough. Learning about the world, yeah, it's my stuff. Headlines and headlines, stories unfold. Knowledge is power, truth to behold. Need the latest, got to know. Never stopping, always go. Scrolling, swiping, reading on. Daylight breaks into dawn. Headlines and headlines, can't get enough.